Hey friends, I'm Lori Palau, and if you are a professional organizer or an aspiring professional organizer, you are in the right place. I'm so happy that you're here. I am the founder of Simply Be Organized, where I'm a lifestyle organizer helping people with all areas of their life. But about 7 years ago, I started coaching and mentoring other professional organizers on growing and scaling their businesses. And so if that's what you're looking for, I am here to help. And today we are talking all about why I feel it's important that everybody needs a proposal when you're working with a new client. Now, mind you, I'm talking new clients. I have people that I've been working with for years and they call me back and I do some kind of ongoing maintenance. I don't always write a new proposal. So I am going to just go on record and say that. But whenever I work with a new client or I have a new complete scope of a project that we haven't done before, I always have a proposal. First of all, I think let's talk about what do we include in that proposal. What I include, it's nothing super fancy. It's something that I draft up and write on my own. I have a template that I use. Actually, it's gone through many iterations over the years, but this way you're not recreating the wheel. But what I do is I include basic information about the client, their name, address, phone number, email, that contact information. And then I give a little quick blurb of a summary, if you will, of the scope of the project, right? The particular client is looking to hire me to help them declutter and organize their fill in the blank. This is the pain points that they're having. And this is the plan of action, right? So that's like a little 3 to 5 sentence paragraph. And again, all from a template that I just plug and play and change the words to be relevant for that particular client. And then from there, I move into what the scope of the work is going to be. And some of the stuff that we do is generic that we do for all of our clients. And then there are some things that are specifically nuanced for that particular job. So I have the basic things that we always include of things that we do, what that's going to include, whether it's emptying, sorting, purging, removing donations, researching products, whatever it looks like. So we include all of those in and I keep them pretty short and bulleted, right? I give enough description so that they have an understanding of what's included, but I don't go into the weeds and give more information than the client needs, right? They don't need to know all of like how we're going to do it. They just know that this is a pain point and we're going to solve it. So I talk about this is what's included. If there anything that is not included, I put that in there as well. So for example, when I'm talking about if we are going to have something installed, I might say we need to contract somebody or have your handyman or whatever it is going to be installing. I always note that for us, product is always billed separately and it's on homeowners' approval. So we have all of that spelled out. And then once I give that, if there's a timeline that we talked about, that also could be in the scope of services. And then I get into our terms. What are our terms? And I give them, however, I'm going to price this out. And this is not an episode about pricing, but whatever the price of the proposal is going to be, I include that in there along with what our payment terms are. We do deposits, especially for if it's a longer than a day job, but we always do a deposit to secure the job. And then normally we pay half up front and then half when the job is done. If it's a super big job, we might break it down monthly or break it down into different sections. But normally I would say we do 50% upon the deposit and then 50% balance due upon completion. So whatever your payment terms are, you're going to have that and have it in writing. We also have a little blurb about what if the client changes the scope of the project during that may affect the price and things of that nature. And then we have people sign it. So that is what our proposal looks like. And anybody that does any one-on-one mentoring with us or is in our mentoring cohort, I give them templates of what we have. So you don't even have to think about creating your own. All of our mentees we give them access to all of our sample assets so that you can just use that for yourself. Now, why do we do it? So it's important that we have it, but the bigger issue is why do we do it? And the reason why is because I believe that clarity is so important in the communication process with a client because we all have pictures in our minds of what we want to achieve with anything. And when you work with somebody, you have a picture in your mind of what that looks like. And specifically when it comes to clutter and organization, people may have this picture in their mind of what you're going to do, and it might be different than what you're actually doing, or what's included might look different. And I've seen this happen with some of our mentees who didn't do a proposal, and they're like, we thought that you would be here all day for 8 hours. And in my proposal, I always say we work in 4 to 5 hour sessions. So that's mapped out. We work in 4 to 5 hour sessions. I'm anticipating this to be this to take 3 sessions. So this way, there's no ambiguity for the client to say, wait a second, why are you only working half a day? I thought you were going to be here all day, and say, oh, it says our sessions are this amount. Now, again, a lot of times we have these conversations with people, but we don't put them in writing. And it's always helpful to be able to have some sort of paper trail to refer back to if, God forbid, you get into a situation where there is some miscommunication. And it happens. We're people. And it doesn't always have to be that somebody is being argumentative or questioning you in a negative way, but you want to be able to have something to refer back to. And when it's only done in a conversation, that poses a problem, especially when it comes to things of like how long something was going to take, or how much something's going to cost, or what is or is not included. And so I think for your sake, as well as for the client's sake, it is so important to be clear and concise and communicate that both verbally and in writing, so that everybody's on the same page of knowing what to expect and what you're going to deliver. If you have questions about this, because this is something that I talk about a lot, is having that open dialogue with your clients, you feel free. You can hop on my phone, hop on my calendar for a free discovery call. We'll drop the link below for that. And again, if you haven't already gotten your new business checklist, it's a great place to start. It just gives you like a little template of things that you're going to want to have for your business. And so we put that together specifically for our professional organizers. So even if your business is already up and running, download it and just make sure that there's nothing left unchecked that you might want to consider for your business as you continue to grow and scale. And I hope you found this episode helpful. Make sure that you click the subscribe, follow button, and each week we'll be back with another episode. So until then, I'm Lori Palau. Peace out.